In this class, we'll be covering the basics of poster design. This includes poster design inspiration, poster sizes and dimensions, and breaking down poster design into just 3 simple steps. Step 1 would be creating your imagery. Step 2 is typography. And step 3 is adding in the final details. My name is Anthony Zubia, a creative director and freelance graphic designer here in Austin, Texas. I'll be walking you through poster design in 3 simple steps, and as a bonus lesson, I'll be showing you where you can also sell your artwork and posters to earn some extra money in your pocket. Let's get started. Hello everybody, and welcome to my latest class talking about poster design. So before we actually get into Illustrator and start designing, I'd like to show you where you can find poster design inspiration. So the first obvious choice is that you can go into Google Images and search poster design, and you'll see a lot of great stuff. But as you can see, some of them are poster templates, and so in that case, you can also check out Pinterest. See, Pinterest is made for creatives, and so you actually find some better designed posters on here. A lot of great stuff. Another site that I like to use for inspiration is Creative Block. And they actually have a great article on how to design a poster. So be sure to check that out as well. I'll make sure to include the link below. So some books from my library that you can check out that I have for poster design. One of the examples is Translating Hollywood. Now, what's great about this book is that it covers poster designs from movies, but they show the international versions of them. So it's awesome to see how they translated from one language to the next and how they change up the posters. And it allows you to think outside the box and change some of your concepts. Another great book is Alternative Movie Posters, Film Art from the Underground. So essentially, this is a book that showcases fan art and fan posters that were made by graphic designers. So these aren't the official movie posters, but fan made, and you'll see a lot of great artwork in here. For example, look at how awesome this Iron Man design is. There's even an alternativemovieposters.com where you can see even more fan-made art. You can search by genres and what's new. Really awesome stuff on here. Now, another book that I have that I enjoy that isn't specifically for poster design, but graphic design in general is called Graphic Design Visionaries. So as you can see here, these are pioneers in the realm of graphic design, but you'll still find a lot of great posters in here. Especially when you get to artists like Saul Bass and also Massimo Vignelli. So be sure to check that out if you can. We just covered some poster design inspiration, and now we can get into poster design sizes and dimensions. This first size on the left is referred to as tabloid size, which usually runs 11 by 17. This is great as a flyer that you can post, and most printers usually print that size. Now, as we move up in size and get a little bigger, this one is 16 inches by 24 inches. You'll tend to find this poster size when it comes to screen printing and hanging artwork in galleries and things such like that. We've covered some poster design inspiration, and now we can get into poster sizes and dimensions. Here on the left is a tabloid size. This is great for flyers because it's 11 inches by 17 inches. So it's bigger than your typical letter size and great for when you need to post flyers anywhere. As you move up in size in posters, this one here is 16 inches by 24 inches. Now, this one is great because it is mainly used for, screen printing and hanging up artwork in galleries. Now, this third size I'll be covering is 24 inches by 36 inches. Now, this is more typical when it comes to movie posters and is a much larger size for wall art. So I'll be using these three sizes in my examples in the videos to come. Now we can start designing, and I wanted to walk you through 3 real-life examples of flyers and posters that I've created. So I'd like to break down poster design into 3 steps. The first is imagery, second is typography, and third is the final details. So with this tabloid flyer, I was asked to create a poster for an event that had to do with the largest water balloon toss. At my previous university, they wanted to try to break the world record of having the most amount of water balloons tossed. And so, what my idea was to start with some imagery is, of course, having an actual water balloon on the flyer. So, what I did was using the pen tool and tracing an image I found off of Google, I just created a simple water balloon. And this red version was the final version that I came up with. So it's important that you can use the pen tool, and I'm pretty sure you can find some other classes on how to use the pen tool, but it'll come in handy when creating your imagery. So for the background, I just used kind of an off-white. I wanted the red and the off-white to kind of almost have a circus feel to it. And so, as you can see, there's a red line around the border, which means that I have a bleed on there, which is about 0.25 inches. So make sure you add a bleed to your posters and extend your background color to it. So that way, when the poster is printed and trimmed, there's no white around it. So, next up, I had to create a gig poster, which is for a concert that was on campus as well. And it had to do with hip hop. It was called Hip Hop on the Hilltop. And so I just added a black background. Again, fits in the bleed. And so what I did was, again, back with the pen tool, I found an image of a Kangol hat, which is, the style back in the day when it came to, hip hop fashion. And, took the time to trace it all. This is just a quick rough. But after I did that, I also traced these cool little glasses here. And the final version that came out was this. And so, instead of using the black, since my background is black, I wanted to use gold. And so that way I changed up the hat to a light blue color because that's also the color that used to be worn. And I kept it that way because the blue and the gold really complement each other well. So this was the main imagery that I created for this poster. Now, another poster I had designed was for a movie showing, which as you can see was for Anchorman. So again, I started off by creating some imagery for it. So I brought out the pen tool, and this one took a little bit longer. And so that's the thing, is that you need to be patient, and this type of thing doesn't happen overnight. And I created, the image in layers. So as you can see here, it has the burgundy and the blue with the tie, and then I made it really minimal, which is just the eyebrows and the mustache. I didn't go into too much detail because it has a cool aesthetic that way. And so when I was done, I kind of placed him in the bottom left corner, and that was the main imagery for that poster. So now that we have some imagery on our posters, the next step is to be adding some typography for the title of the poster. Now that we have some imagery to work with, we can go ahead and get started on some typography. So for this poster, what I did was that I actually made the typography part of the image, which is something that you can do as well. The title and the type doesn't have to be separate from the image. You can get even more creative with it. So the way I did this was that I had morphed the type for it to flow like water and go with the shape of the balloon. So the way you can do this is if you click up here, which is the make envelope, you can actually warp your type, which is really cool. There are so many options and fun ways to make this happen. And you can even do it manually by choosing make with mesh and choose exactly how in depth you want to take it. So you kind of made different pieces to it that you can morph, and it's a lot of fun. So for the hip hop poster, what I did was that I used a font called Kilogram, which I had seen a lot, which had to do with, music and posters. And I also use it because it kind of has, some fat edges to it. And that combined with the arrows that I added in here, I wanted to give it almost, a feel and a nod to the graffiti that was going on back in the day with hip hop. So I'm just making this smaller, and the alignment tool comes in handy when working on posters. And so I just brought this in this way. And there we go, the poster's coming along. We have a central image to work with and typography to connect it all together. And so now with Anchorman, I chose a font called Magnum that you can download online. And I used this because it has kind of that 70s feel to it. And I knew that it would look good on a poster. And so I used kind of an off-white for the color to kind of have again like a throwback 70s feel. And I added in these yellow bars because this type setup is what they actually have on the Anchorman DVD cover, but I just wanted to use different fonts so that it's not the same. And then I added in these rectangles, but what I did too was that since this type is really rounded and this rectangle has some harsh corners, what you can do too is that these little circles in the corners, you can actually bring them in and round your rectangle. Also, you can choose the rounded rectangle tool and make them that way. So there are different options to get this done. So again, kind of bring it to the top. Now it's centered. And now this poster is coming along. See, it's all about hierarchy when it comes to posters. You need the central image and typography that's the title so that people can connect and know what your event, movie, concert is all about. And also, the title needs to be the biggest before we add in the rest of the details, which we'll do in the next video. But yeah, the main type needs to be bigger so that people know exactly what the event is and they read that first before going on to the other details. These are just some basics of poster design. So in the next video, I'll be adding in the rest of the details of the poster and polish them up so that we can finalize them. Alright, so we have our typography, we have our main image, and now we can start adding in the final details. So I had a little subtitle for this poster, which was Guinness World Record breaking event. And so I decided to add in some stars to kind of help grab the attention of the students that were on campus. And I was provided with some subtext that had fit nicely right next to the balloon. And then, of course, people need to know the details, which is the date and time and where it's located. So I can bring this down lower, the title down lower. And if you press Command R, you can bring in the rulers and guides. You can just drag along here. So that way you have a nice border and you also want to align all of your text. So you can go to the Align tool and align to section. So align right. And so the text is lined up. Bring these back down. And so this was more or less the final flyer that I created. And I'll be adding in all of my posters into the class project so you can see more examples and the final versions of how they came out. So now we can finalize the hip hop poster. So I had created this cool chain just by using rectangles and lines and just connecting them over and over into this chain that will be used as a border. So you can align to the artboard. So it goes all the way around. And then this was the subtext that I needed to add on there, which were, the musicians that were performing and where it was located. And there was even some raffle prizes. So make that smaller, align it to the middle of the poster. Make sure everything else is aligned in there. Make this a little bit bigger, which is now it's aligned to the hat. And so there you go. This poster is complete. And for the subtext, I had used Franklin Gothic because that is the actual type that was used for the Run DMC logo, the popular hip hop group. And so I also added the red lines, above and below them to make it look more like the logo so that when people see the poster, they can make the connection to hip hop and know what the event is all about. Now, for the final poster, the Anchorman one, what I did was that for the bottom, there needed to be some sponsor logos. So I wanted to create some space down here, which I brought in some of the dark yellow and orange, to kind of stick with the retro feel of the poster. And then how the tagline in Anchorman is "You stay classy, San Diego." I wanted to make my own version since it was St. Edward's University. I added the tagline "You stay classy, St. Edward's." And so again, I had the details I needed to add in, which that could be a little bit smaller and centered. And so again, I'm aligning my type. And so I actually had him more to the left so that way, there's more room for the type. And so that way it kind of the type is laid out to where it goes with his shape. Bring that down a little bit lower. And all of this is going to be cut off anyway, so it's fine if it's hanging off. It's not going to show up on your poster. And so these are the final completed versions. And like I said, I'll throw them in the class project. And I hope that these can inspire you to create your own posters. And feel free to post them in the class project so that we can all take a look at them and give some feedback. Great job. You've made it to the last lesson. For the last section, I just wanted to cover some websites where you can sell your posters and earn some extra money in your pocket. The first one I'm covering is Printful. So, this website is called Printful because when you upload a design, they print and also do the fulfillment and shipping of it. So, there's a lot of products that you can use and add your design to, and you can sell them through various websites such as Shopify, Big Cartel, BigCommerce, and even Etsy. So you can take a look at their posters and canvas prints. And so the amount here is how much it costs for them to print. They even have framed posters as well. So, as I said, that's the price that you buy at, and you can sell it at this price and make this much profit. So it's pretty cool. I've used Printful a lot before, mainly for t-shirt design, and have set it up with Etsy and have been able to earn some extra money that way. You can even download mock-up images for your posters, which is really cool. So that way, your customers can see a better view of what exactly you're selling. So, another website that you can sell posters on is TeePublic. This is another site that I sell my designs on, again, mainly on t-shirts, but you have the option of selling posters as well. Now, TeePublic is great when it comes to, parody designs. There's a big demographic that loves designs that have to do with TV shows, movies, comics, and video games. So if that's your demographic, be sure to check out TeePublic. And I'll make sure to have all these links in the description as well. Now, this website is called Redbubble, another print on demand website. So I sell on here as well and have been able to sell some stickers and shirts and haven't sold the posters, but again, you have the option of selling them on here to earn some extra money. There's a lot of great stuff on here that you can do and a lot of options to customize your products. Now, there is also Society 6 that you can sell posters, but not only that, you can even sell your photography. So let's say if you're not as much of a graphic designer, you can sell your photos or your paintings as posters and art prints. So it's really cool. So be sure to check this website out as well. Now, the last website I'm covering is one that I haven't tried yet, but will look forward to getting into. And this one is called Imprint. And this website is strictly posters. So you don't have to worry about setting up other designs for t-shirts or stickers or anything else and just focus on your prints. So you can click on this third tab where it says open a print shop and just follow these quick, easy steps. Thank you again for viewing my class on poster design, and I hope you were able to learn a lot. I hope I've been able to inspire you to create your own posters, and not only that, to be able to sell them as well. Be sure to check out my website at zubiacreative.com so that you can follow me on social media, check out my other products that I'm selling and my other classes, and also any services that you need when it comes to design and marketing. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions, and you can follow me on various social media at Anthony M. Zubia. Thanks again, and good luck in creating your posters. Congrats on completing the course. Now that you've finished it, you can start creating your own posters. Be sure to check out the class projects section. In that section, we'll be posting our designs and I'll be sharing all the posters that I've done before so that you guys can be inspired and share your own artwork. Feel free to reach out with any questions that you have. You can post your artwork in the class projects section and we'll be able to give feedback and inspiration so that all of us can keep growing in our design work. I hope this course has been very helpful, and I wish you the best in all of your poster designs. And hopefully along the way you can sell some of them as well and earn some extra money in your pocket.